Hey guys, Carla with Carla's Clever Crafts. I was live a few minutes ago, was having some technical difficulties. We had storms and power outages yesterday, so I thought it might be related to them still working in the area. But when I got off, I realized I had not connected my camera back to our Wi-Fi. So when we lost our power, I forgot to reconnect. So I'm hoping that's the issue. I'm going to try again. I'm going to recap what I had done in the first part of the video. I'll start with the materials. You're going to need a glue gun and some glue sticks. Going to need this is just a Dollar Tree pot. It's partially done because I was doing the video previously, and that's the part I had gotten done. These little pots are about 4 to 5 inches tall, and I got 3-pack at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. I'm gonna need some of this decorative nautical rope. I also got this at the Dollar Tree. It's 9.5 feet, and when I did the first beehive, it took me 2 full ropes. I think it was full ropes, or maybe 2 and one and part of another one. So anyway, I have 3 here just to make sure that we have enough. You're also going to need some yellow flowers, some greenery of some kind to put on your hive. And then, now that I've moved everything around, I've misplaced my bees. Oh, here they are. You're going to need a couple little bees, however many you want to put on your hive. I ordered these from Amazon. I got a pack of 100 on there. It was a pretty good deal. You could use any kind of bees. It does not have to be these. You could even make these. They're nothing more than just a little round ball with a string tied around and a couple felt wings and 2 little black eyes. So they'd be real simple to make if you wanted to do that. Okay, and then you need the bear. I got this little guy from Amazon, and he was $8. I thought that was a pretty good deal. It's kind of realistic looking. I liked that about him, and he's real furry and soft. Of course, you're going to need some scissors. You'll need some finger protectors. These came from the Dollar Tree. They're silicone, and it's a 3-pack for $1.25. Let me see. I think I covered everything. Okay. Oh, no, I did forget. You're going to need something black to make your circle with, either felt or I used vinyl, so I could just stick it on there like a sticker for simplicity. You're just going to cut out a circle, and what I did to make this circle, the first one I did was uneven. My circle didn't come out very even, so this time I just used the bottom of this paint bottle and traced around it on my vinyl, and then just cut the circle out. And then that was the first step, is I stuck the black circle on. If you use felt or some other different type of fabric, you can just glue it on. And then once I stuck that on, I came to the back right here and went around the very bottom of the pot with the rope. And you're just going to use, I started in the back and wrapped around, and I just kept going around. And the way that we're going to do that, now here where the circle is, we have to cut them off. But since I had to restart this video, I'll show you how to do that again when I get to that point. So you're just gonna, I take my glue, don't use a lot because it'll come through your rope and then give you a bunch of glue globs in your design. And we don't want that. Just put it at the base there of the bottom piece of rope and on the pot, so that way your rope, as you're wrapping it, will adhere to both the rope below it and the pot. And now we're back around here to where our circle is. We're going to cut the rope off there. And I'm kind of cutting it at an angle, kind of framing it around the circle, or trying to. So just like that. And don't worry about that looking perfect, because we're going to actually be covering that up. You just want to make sure that it's adhered good. And I take a little dab of glue and just put it on the top there, because those rope ends will unravel. And I just press it down to secure the rope ends together to each other. And again, that glue kind of shows there, but don't worry about that because we're going to be covering that up. Okay, and once you cut off there, you're just going to pick up and do the same process on the other side over here. Remember, a thin layer of glue. The first time I did this, I was putting a lot of glue because I wanted to make sure it was good and secure, and then I ended up with some glue seeping through and showing where I didn't want it to. so I'm just going to push that in down right there. My rope untwisted a little bit there. I'm just going to twist it back and then press it down in the glue. And then we just keep this process going all the way around. As you can see down here, once I completed the first row, I just came up with the rope a little bit, up to around the next layer, and just kept going around. And we're just going to keep repeating that until we get the whole thing covered. Try to load my comments in real quick since I had to start over. I forgot I don't have them on here. And this goes pretty quick. We're back around to the black circle again, so I'm just going to clip it off. Dab of glue there. Press it down so that the ends of my rope don't unravel. It's getting, you know, when I clip that rope, there's little dust pieces from it that get all over, so I'm just wiping those off. And then I'm going to come over here and we're just going to pick up on the other side of the circle again. And when I push it down on here, I just push the two pieces of rope, make sure that I'm pushing them together as well as pushing into the pot. Sometimes you get funky looking things on your rope. I just trim those off. And there I got a little bit of glue on my rope, but I'm not going to bother it because if I try to remove it now, it'll smudge and look terrible. But if I let it harden, I'll be able to pull that right off and you won't even be able to tell I made that mistake. So we're back to the circle. We're going to cut it again. Little dab of glue. Hold that down. When you're doing this part, try not to get the glue in the black circle because you want that to look like the hole that goes into the hive. So you don't want it to be, that was one mistake I made on my first ones. I got glue around the inside of that and then you could see it. Wipe the dust off. Now we're just going to pick up on this side again. Remember, thin layer of glue. Doesn't take a whole lot because you're gluing it to the pot and to the rope, so it's going to be really secure. Oh, look what I did. I put the glue in the wrong place. Remember to continue where you left off. Okay, that piece of glue is hard now that I got on there by accident, so it just came right off. I'm just pulling the rope back here to check where I left off with the glue to make sure I don't miss any spots. Remember to push the rope toward the rope and into the pot. Big old piece of glue there. I'm going to pull that off. That was where I glued the wrong spot instead of continuing where I left off. Okay, we're almost at the end of the first stroke. None of making this is hard. It does just take a little bit of time and patience, but it's an easy process for a very cute result. And in a couple places already, I've gotten just a little bit too much glue and it has squeezed through the ropes. But I'm not bothering it. I'm just gonna let it dry and harden there, because if I touch it and smear it, then it's gonna leave white smears. But if I just let it harden, it won't be hardly noticeable, and you could even pull it off. To the black again. I'm just cutting it off. Make that end stick down to itself. We're going to cover around this with rope so you won't see any of this. It doesn't look too pretty right now, but we're going to cover all that up. I just got this little teeny piece left, so I'm going to go ahead and start with a new one. Now, I've seen some people make these, and they actually burn the rope to get all these little fuzzies and stuff off of it before they start. I thought that the natural look of it gave character for the project, and even made it look a little more realistic. So I did not do that step, but you could do that if you wanted to. That's why I wanted to mention it. If you wanted it to have more of a smooth look. Of course, also knowing my luck, I would try to burn that off and then like catch the house on fire or something. I'm very accident prone when I craft. The scars on my hands prove it. I never did get comments loaded in. Hard time seeing. Yeah, I don't know what this is doing. So we'll just keep on working. If you are on watching, leave me a comment. If I don't see it before the video is over, I'll respond to you afterwards. One more thing. Okay, we need to clip this off. Glue gun is dripping, so I'm going to let it cool a little bit. Found it. Yes. Okay. So I should be able to see comments here real soon. Okay, so we are pretty much at the top of the circle here. So when I start over here this time, we're probably just going to be able to keep on going around and not have to cut it off anymore. Which is exciting because that's the hardest part. It looks like this side over here is not quite circular, so might have to work on fixing that. So I'm going to come to this side over here just like normal and pick up. And then hopefully we'll be able to just continue going around without cutting off anymore. Whoops. Yeah, we're going to be able to continue right on around now. And so that's what it will look like. You just come straight on across the top of your circle there. And then just continue on the other side doing the same process. Not hard at all. Time consuming and tedious, but not hard. And if you like bees, if you're watching this video and you like bees, I'm going to be doing a swag, a wreath, and a garland in bee theme. I'm going to try to do a matching set coming up, so watch for those videos if you like bees and are interested in doing some of your own home decor. And I was thinking I might even try to do a topiary. I'm not sure yet, but I thought that would be cute. Someone who watches my page, follows my page, does her porch in bee theme, or patio or porch one. And that gave me the idea of potentially a topiary, because something like that would be really cute sitting next to your door. If you had a wreath on your door and then a topiary beside your door, that would be very cute. Okay, so we're getting close to the top here. We're still going around using the same process. And I keep a hold of this glue that I've just, or the rope that I have just glued as I go around, just to make sure that it starts to set up before I let go of it. It doesn't take long because we're just using a small amount of glue. So I just like to hang on to it as I go around. Okay, so now we've gotten to the top of the side, and I'm just going to start going around the bottom of the pot. Keep losing my finger protector. So let me figure out where I left off. Don't forget that step, because you don't want to leave any of it unglued. So when I'm doing the bottom, I'm just, same process, only I'm just coming in a little, you're coming in as you go around, because that's going to give us our kind of cone shape. Now my glue is getting too thick, so I'm going to turn it back on. And this is what it looks like as I'm working around the inside. We don't want to get glue on our bear. I'm doing the same thing on the top. I'm putting it like right in the crease so that I'm going to be attaching to the pot and the rope with each time I go around. Okay, we're almost done with this part. Now I've got just that one little hole left there, so I'm going to clip this off about where the length of the hole so that I can just push it down in there and fill that in. I'm going to use plenty of glue in there, but not so much that it pops out, you know, through my design. And I've just stuck my finger in it, so don't do that. And I push the end down in first to secure it good. And so that's what it looks like when it's all done. So this is what we have so far. And then our next step is going to be to do our circle of rope right here. So I'm going to see if this little piece we had left off of the last one is long enough to do this. And it is, so that's wonderful. Now I'm going to start it down here at the bottom because we're going to put some leaves and some flowers and stuff down here that will cover up our starting and ending point. I'm just going to start going right around the edge of the circle here, staying on the rope. Try not to get the glue on the black part. Sometimes it happens and you can't help it, but try not to. That was, I think I mentioned already, that was one of the mistakes I made last time. And it looks kind of bad on the inside there. But once I added everything, it's not real noticeable, but to me it still is. Now where this rope was cut here, I'm going to do the same thing I did with all the other cut ends and just put a dab of glue and flatten that down, try to get them all to stick together. Pull off all these little extra glue pieces. Okay, so come back up here where I left off. Just a thin glue line right around the edge where you cut it off at. Bringing it all the way back to the beginning of your circle. And then I have a little piece extra here, so I'm going to cut that off. Missed a little piece of it there, so I'll go ahead and trim that. I'm getting glue everywhere. Okay, so then I'm going to do the same thing with this cut end. Put this little dab of glue on it. Press it down so that it all sticks together. Remember, we're covering that up, so even if it doesn't look pretty, it's okay. You just want it to be secure. And even with pre-cutting out my circle, you guys, I still didn't get my circle perfect, but I guess beehives aren't perfect, so it's okay. It is a little bit better than my first try, so that's good. Progress. Okay, so we're all done with the rope now. We can get rid of that out of our way. Okay, and then I think the next thing I'm going to do is attach the bear. So I'm going to get the bear and I'm going to cut the tags off. Now, when I did the first one, I did the flowers and the bees first. But I'm going to show you something because this is a mistake I made that I want you to avoid. When I attached my bear, I was so excited to get him on there. He's not really straight with the hole, and I guess that's okay. I mean, you could even have your bear on the side if you wanted to, but I kind of had envisioned him being straight over top of the hole. So he's a little off-centered, and so I thought we would attach the bear first to avoid that mistake. And then the other thing is, if you look really closely right here under his chin, you can see a bunch of glue. And that is because when I attached the bear, I brought the glue too far out underneath his little chin here. So we're going to try to avoid that this time and see if I can do it a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to position him up here. See, I wanted his little head to sit right on top like that, so I really brought that glue out there. That was a mistake. We're not going to do that again. And I want him kind of hugging the hive, and I want his little brown paws turned around here so they're facing the front. So let me get him positioned the way I want him. I'm just going to hold this right up against my body here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And this time I think I'm going to have his little nose even hanging over the edge of the hive here. So I'm going to start just by gluing his neck back here, and I'm not going to put no glue out here in this part, okay? So let's start with that. And be very careful. This glue will run and it will burn you, particularly depending on what kind you're using, what kind of glue gun. And I'm just going to hold this for a minute and let that start setting up. I'm even going to let my glue cool down some. And while I'm waiting, I'm just moving the hair away from his eyes. That way we're looking at each other. I really like the bear and bee theme together. I had actually purchased some bee decorations for my yard last year, and I really like them. Let's see. Yeah, it's still sitting up. You need to hold him just a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on his little paw over here while I'm still holding this, because his paw's kind of laying there exactly where I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt. Maybe not. Here we go. And I'm just putting the glue right here on the inside of his arm. And then I'm just going to position it because I want that little paw kind of facing forward. And I just got a glimpse under his neck. It's still pretty wet under there, so I'm going to have to hold this for quite a bit here. Sorry for the delay. But I didn't want to do any of these steps off camera, even though I knew it would take a while, because I wanted you to see exactly how I made it. And I also wanted to be able to show you the mistakes I made on the first one that I was going to try to avoid on this one. I'll look here, making sure I got his little head right above the hole. Okay, it's starting to set up. I'm still going to keep a hold of him, but I'm going to flip him up here. Well, actually, I better wait and do his other arm over here first before I start working on his body. Yeah, we'll just wait. I really don't want to keep you guys on live forever, but I also don't want to mess this up or show you guys the wrong way. The arm seems set up pretty good. Just worried about this head. The weight of his body, I think, tries to pop it up. And maybe I should have started with gluing the body. Not sure. Okay. All right, that seems like we're doing okay. So I'm going to come over here and do the arm. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side. I want to try to get the little brown part of his paw facing forward if I can. Oh, we need some more glue. Still not perfectly straight, but he's straighter than he was before, so that's progress. His head is sticking pretty good now, even though the weight of the body's still trying to pull it loose. I'm going to let this arm set up on this side, and then we'll attach his body. Yes, I'm just blowing on it to kind of try to help that glue. I'm not sure if that's even effective. I'm just trying. Yeah, I was afraid of that, Shauna, but I have to push him up against me to get the secure hold, the secure pressure. Sorry. I'll try to lean in maybe next time. Okay, let's see if it's starting to adhere. Yep. Okay, so now I'm just going to flip it upside down here. I'm going to put the glue on his body, and I'm just going to pull it straight in. Hopefully I stayed in the camera angle that time. Did that work? When you are showing us. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, when I hold him up to the camera? Oh. That's crazy. Okay. The glue will set up faster now because I turned it off and it has cooled down some already before I put it on. But what that means is I've got to adhere it faster so it doesn't cool down and harden before I adhere him. Oh, okay. So I'm getting too close to the camera. Thank you for letting me know. I can't even imagine how many times I've done that. So this is what it looks like in the back. And sides when we're gluing him down. Now I'm going to attach his legs too, but I'm going to wait for the body to set up a little bit. And I did, on mine, I did bees and flowers in the front, but shoot, you could do them all the way around. You could even put a little bee on his nose, would be cute. Maybe I'll do that with one of them. Okay, I think we can, well, no, it's still pretty wet. So I'm still going to push in on it, but I'm going to come over here and go ahead and put some glue on his leg. I want his little paw, the brown part, to be facing outward. So I'm going to twist his leg around there and put the glue in here so that I can try to accomplish that. And you can see I'm using a lot of glue, you guys, because I don't want our little guy to come off. I'm going to hold the leg and the body. And remember when you're sticking your fingers inside that these pots are thin, so the heat from the glue does come through that and it can burn you. It's burned me. Now that I've got this rope on there, we're gluing to the top of the rope. It's just barely warm in there, but when you're gluing the rope on, it gets really hot. guys, I got some glue coming out that I didn't want to, so maybe I put a little too much glue in his body area. Okay, so I'm going to hold his little leg down there. I'm going to go ahead and come over here and work on this one. I'm going to twist his little foot up there the way I want it again, and just pull it straight back and put my glue. I'm not going to go so close to the edges, so that way maybe I can avoid that spillover. The glue seems to be hardening pretty good on the body.
Those are so cool.
Oh, thank you. You are wonderful. I needed that. Coffee from my husband. Is that not the best? Let's check and see. Yeah, I think we've got a good enough hold now. So this is what he looks like so far. Isn't he just super adorable? I'm gonna fluff up his hair and stuff because I've been mashing him down flat. But I can do that afterwards. Okay, I've got my glue gun turned off for just a minute. We're gonna need it again to do the flowers and the bees, but I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit. And these are the flowers that I'm using. These are from the Dollar Tree. It just says wildflowers. So they're just little yellow wildflowers. Let's see, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And so I just popped the end off of the stem. And then I also used one of the leaves off of this. So I'm gonna pop off one of the leaves. Okay, and then when I did this one, I cut the leaves, one leaf off for each side. I think the reason I had decided to do it that way is because leaving them together was just too much. Let me go ahead and cut one of these off. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to do it the same way again. So what I did is there's a hard plastic piece here in the middle. I'm just really cutting that out and cutting the leaf just flat straight across the bottom. And then I'll just throw that plastic piece away. And you do not need very much glue for this. All these little fabric leaves will adhere very easy. So on the back of the leaf, where the flat part is, I'm just going to put a touch of glue right down here at the bottom. Not very much. Just a little. And then I'm going to pull it up here, and I'm just going to glue it right at the middle, at the bottom of the hole here. And that seems to be sticking up a little, so I'm going to stick a little glue in there to try to get that to lay down. I didn't get glue on that part apparently. And try not to get glue everywhere in the process. Okay. So then I'm going to take one of my other leaves and just do the same thing and put it on the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to overlap it right here. Use my silicone fingertip to push it down. So it looks just like that. And you guys can do your greenery any way that you want to. It doesn't have to be exactly the way that I'm doing mine. Get creative, do your own thing. Okay, now the little flower heads, I snipped those off. And then there is a little piece of greenery behind these, and it was making my flowers stick out way more than I wanted them to. So I also snipped it off, but I kept it, and I'll show you why in just a second. Because we're gonna use it, we're just gonna do it a different way. So you basically have just the flower with a very tiny piece of stem. You're gonna put just a dot of glue there. That was more than a dot. Okay, and then you can just decide on here where all you want to put your flowers. I'm gonna put my first one actually right here in the middle of the greenery. I'm just gonna push it in there so it starts to get a good hold. Okay, it looks just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same process with another flower. And these are real teeny, you guys, probably a ½ inch flower. Trying to clip this greenery off without cutting my flower. Okay, same thing. Little dot of glue. And then I'm gonna put one up here. I'm gonna kind of do this design the same way I did the first one. And I think I'm gonna be making wreaths with these cute little guys. I haven't fully decided yet, but I think that's what I'm doing. I'm just coming over here and fixing my petals. One of my petals got folded under. Okay. Same thing with our third flower. And I just pull all these little petals forward to try to make sure that I don't cut them, and then also that kind of helps me try to avoid folding them under when I glue it on. Okay. Be very careful when putting the glue on. Don't get it on your finger or let it run on your finger. That's why I turned my glue gun off. So my glue would be thicker and it won't run as much. Okay. Got him on there where I want him. Almost. He keeps trying to pop up out of there, so I'm going to hold him for a minute. Adjust my petals the way I want them. I'm going to put a little dot of glue on this side too, because that glue really only adhered on that other side. So just secure that flower up a little. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. Okay, so there's those two. And then I'm going to come up here and put a couple right underneath his chin. This will probably be my last flower. But of course, feel free to do as many as you want. do lots and lots of bees, have them flying all around this guy. Okay, and now I'm gonna add my first little bee right here. So cute. Okay, and we're gonna do, let's see, we're gonna do the other one up here beside the bear, up above the flowers. So that's what it looks like. And then just one more thing that I did that I wanted to show you guys is I wanted a little bit of touch of greenery around these flowers. And since I couldn't leave it connected because it pushed it out too far from my beehive, further than I wanted, I just took these little pieces of greenery that I had cut off and I cut them in half. There's 5 petals on it, so I cut off 2 of them. And then I snipped off this little stem that's in the middle. And I just put a little dab of glue on this. Be careful not to burn myself. And then I just took this little greenery and where I wanted a touch of it behind my flowers, I just pushed it in there. And you could just go around your flowers and do as much of that as you want. That's why I save these. And so you can just glue those little pieces around anywhere you want to on your flower. Okay, so that is about it. You could even do like greenery up the side here, like on this one here. I have a couple little pieces of extra greenery coming out there. So you could do something like that too. Or really it's your design, you can do whatever you want to, but that's it. That's how you make this little guy. And like I said, you could get a big pot, you could make as big a one as you wanted to. But I think he's super cute. You guys let me know in the comments what you think of him. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to comment #replay and tell me where you're watching from. And if you are watching over on YouTube, please do the same thing. And if you like my videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And I am very grateful that you like my projects and that I'm able to give you something that you may inspire you to do your own. Okay, you guys have a wonderful evening and I will see you later.